Yes.
Yes. I appreciate the response.
Pretty quick too, there wasn't a lot of...
Yeah, there was.
I didn't have to
He's
think it
good.
over.
He's a good politician.
Yeah, I'm going places.
Yeah, right to the top.
Richard, are you gonna go to candidates night, or since you're running unattested, are you just?
Yep,
sit
I'll be
down?
there.
You'll be there?
I'll be there for you. People can ask questions. I think I might win.
You gotta get
It's gonna be tight. Nail biter. I'll miss the owl prowl.
Close. 4:59. Someone might be just around the corner when you come in.
It's usually me or Henry.
Yeah. I'm gonna call him. At almost 5 o'clock on February 24th, I call this meeting to order. Tamworth Select Board meeting. Changes and additions to the agenda. Chicago Village Association will not be attending. And there are some additions to the signature file. That's all I know about. Is there any public input of great importance before we get started?
We had hoped to speak on the warrant article. Is this the time?
It's on, you're on the
We're up.
agenda. You're on the agenda.
You're on the agenda.
You're on the agenda.
Okay, great. So should we,
And you'll make it quick.
all right, we'll make it quick.
Not right now,
But when it comes
when
up.
it comes.
It's on the agenda.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're official.
We're going to start with a department head update with Jeremy Phillips from the Recreation Department.
All right. What do you want? You want the long version or the short version? A little bit of
Whatever you
between.
feel like.
I have a couple things I want to spend some time on, but I'll go quick with some bullet points as well. So just want to give a little update for the past, what we've been doing, basketball, and definitely wanted to give a shout out to the coaches, Pat Shea, Jason Bergen, and Steve Abadi. They've been around for a long time, and their kids are in 6th grade, so they might be going on to middle school. And I know Emily would probably agree they're kind of a staple to the rec department for the last few years. So, so we'll hopefully still see them around. But they had a great season. The kids had a great season. The coaches too. You know, kept it off by going to the tournament in Conway, which was a lot of fun. They built a lot of good relationships, kind of continued the relationships from soccer, some of the same kids. We had a co-ed team this year, which was a little tricky to navigate in the beginning because we had enough for girls team and then we didn't have enough for girls team, and then I had to reschedule basketball games that I had scheduled. Anyway, it all worked out pretty well in the end, and they had a good year. Had a couple after school programs, one in particular, winter survival with 2nd and 3rd graders. So lighting fires with I didn't get any pictures of that day, unfortunately, because I was worried about the fires. But it was a lot of fun. You know, building snow huts and quinzies and how to light a fire in winter, which was great. Did a full moon snowshoe, which was well attended. There was like 24 people at that event over at the rec field. Partnered with WODC and did a couple tracking programs. Kyle Ball went out with kids for one program and adults for another program. The WODC one was in Wanalancet, and then the adult program was at the rec field. We had beavers and fisher and otter and squirrels and all kinds of pretty cool sign over there. Saturdays, still there's open gym happening, So come to open gym, everybody. And beginner pickleball and adult pickleball on Saturday, but also those two things are happening on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Ongoing, partnered with TCNA for some belly dancing. Maybe some of you participated, I don't know, in that last 2 Fridays ago, and then this Friday is the next one. But I heard that was well attended. I didn't get to go to the first one.
Definitely gotta get videos of that one.
Yeah, yeah. So those have been some of the things this winter. Happening pretty soon is 2nd and 3rd grade basketball. Oh, one of the things for the gym, I think I might have mentioned this at my last update, I'm not sure, but it's just with middle school sports happening, the gym time is crunched. So it's been really difficult to schedule times in there for practices and games. The relationship with the school has been great, and has been getting better over the course of time. But that is just an issue. There's 4 days of boys and girls basketball, and it was really difficult to get in that gym. But we made do. We just went a little bit later for rec basketball. There's
Can I just ask a quick question about
yeah.
that? Can you, if you were so inclined, can you use the gym on weekends for,
Yeah.
or is there's still pushback against that?
Well, there was pushback from the coaches on that one for this year anyway, but that can be an option if there's people willing to do that. There's other things that like to happen on weekends as well. So, but yes, that is a possibility going forward. Yep. So 2nd, 3rd grade basketball, crunched 4 days in to get them into the gym in March. So I'm looking forward to that. They really haven't had that ability lately, and I think that'll help them just dribble to feel what a basketball feels like before they get to the big leagues in 4th and 5th and 6th grade. The egg hunt's coming up. Word will be spreading about that pretty soon. Doing a bird box building program for K to 2nd grade. And then spring sports is right around the corner. Softball, soccer, track, t-ball. I think those are all of them. And summer's starting to drop into focus as well.
So T-ball is what, 1st and 2nd?
T-ball is K to 2 right now.
K to 2?
It's a pretty wide swath.
And then what happens to baseball after that?
Last year we only got a few people to sign up. So this year I have 2 parents gung-ho about softball, so it'll be co-ed softball. Mm-hmm. And if we can spin that into baseball in the future, I would love that. Mm-hmm. But right now it's softball, I think.
And that's because lack of coaching interest or kid interest or both?
Both. I think most people choose to go to Cal Ripken.
And that's 3rd grade on? I thought that was older.
I think it's 3rd grade on, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I think it's like 3, 4, 3rd
Yeah.
grade has a league, and then 5th and 6th grade.
Yeah.
That's always used to like.
Yeah, I think that's
Still is.
still right. And I'm a little worried because they're doing softball now too,
Yeah.
which is starting this year. So I hope our program can get up and running.
Yeah, and so is that out of, are we going to Madison for that?
For Cal
Where
Ripken?
did Tamworth kids, like what team were they on? They were on the Cal Ripken team.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'm just thinking ahead, like you start with the skills now, like you said, you've got to learn
Yeah.
how to hold a basketball so that you can play.
Mhm.
And I know that it's been kind of a thing that when kids get to Kennett, they're at a sports deficit quite often. And, rec is a chance to start them off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, not putting it all on you. I'm just curious about like what the threads are now to get somebody who's interested in basketball or track or soccer or whatever. And looks like rec is doing a good job holding that ground for some of the sports. And I just wanna make sure Tamworth kids,
Yeah, soccer's been
yeah,
huge. Usually soccer is just in the fall, but we do it in the spring as
Yeah.
well. I think Sandwich is the only other rec department that does that, so.
yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, between K and 6 for soccer, we have like 40, 45 kids that do it normal, in the spring, which
Yeah.
is, yeah.
You know, this is one of the ways that I'm not really sure how things intertwine, but, not to get hung up on this for a long time. I don't know if the school's actually taking an active role promoting things like Cal Ripken. I think it would be great for Tamworth kids if they could hear about opportunities like that, even if we're not actively running it, from as many sources as possible. Because sports are one way that kids can thrive if they're not thriving in other ways.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a way for you to find out and just kind of add that to your messaging.
Yeah, I have put it out on social media
So when you find
for
out.
Cal
you do-
Ripken,
okay.
yeah, but I could try to put it out
No, I mean,
in
if you're
other
doing that
ways.
already, that's great.
You know, one thing there's some ideas percolating now that you say that
Yeah.
about even helping to fund, because that's a little bit more expensive than like a rec program would be, so.
Yeah,
Helping to get kids
engaged, yeah.
engaged in Cal Ripken would be good.
Thank you.
All right, two kind of bigger things, I guess. One is just a bullet point as far as you're concerned, but I'm excited about it, is the community calendar. I've got a rough draft of it, and it's gonna be starting to be released March 4th is when we're having a meeting at the library and gonna get some organizations signed up. So there'll be a calendar. If you are a Tamworth organization that has events for the residents, you can, get on this calendar and show people that your event is out there. So I'm pretty excited to get that rolling.
That's like 10 years in the works, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, and hopefully it'll get utilized and
Yeah.
stay, I know, it's been a conversation probably longer than 10 years, to be
Yeah.
honest, but.
That's great.
Yeah. And then the big thing for me, I guess, is I would like to apply for a change of use permit for the old dump site for winter recreation. So I'm just here to get your feedback, potential support, and then move forward with that application. I had a meeting with DES. She seemed to think that there would, there are levels of methane that they would have to look at, but it didn't seem like there would be a super big concern about it as far as that type of use goes. So the what it would be is just groom trails usage for walking, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, fat biking, whatever, but it's all on snow. And there would have to be a certain level of snow before, before grooming could happen, of course, and they would have to stay on the trails. There'd be signage appropriate for all that stuff as well. But I don't know if you all have thoughts. I know some of you, it's probably your first time hearing that idea, but if you had thoughts or concerns or questions that maybe I didn't think of, I would love your feedback.
I love the idea. I've often wondered why we can't do something more with that
Yeah.
space. So would the fence still stay up?
Yeah, that's good.
Upon approval or change of the permit, I would try, the fence would still stay up, yeah.
Okay.
I would try to maybe get a gate on the rec side instead of just in the front. That may happen this year, may happen, next year, but that would be kind of the next goal. Beyond that, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it does seem like a good idea. It's adjacent to the rec field and it's an open space.
And our testing for methane levels have been low.
Have they?
I'm pretty sure that they've been like under the.
Yeah.
And that's
whatever
something they would look at. It's $100 for the permit, so I wanted to bring it up to you all.
Yeah.
I know $100 isn't that much, but it's still something. And yeah, if there's something that I wasn't thinking of, obviously you want to protect the cap that's on there. All that would happen. If there is support, I drafted a letter too, to go along with that application that I'd hope to get you to sign if you were up for that. I don't know if you just want me to read the letter or want me to read it?
Sure.
All right. Let's see. Dear Sir, Madam, the Tamworth Select Board respectfully submits this letter in support of Tamworth Recreation Department's request to allow seasonal passive recreational use of the former Tamworth landfill site. The board supports the proposal to permit cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, walking on groomed snow-covered trails during the winter months when adequate snow cover and frozen ground conditions protect the integrity of the landfill cap. The proposed use is limited to non-motorized passive recreation activities and does not involve excavation, grading, construction, or any disturbance of the landfill cap or monitoring systems. We understand the importance of maintaining long-term integrity of the environmental protection associated with the closed landfill. The Recreation Department has committed to ensuring that activities occur only when sufficient snow cover exists. Grooming equipment operates exclusively on snow. No permanent structures will be installed. Sensitive areas will be clearly marked and avoided. All applicable state regulations and permit conditions will be followed. The board believes this seasonal use represents a responsible and beneficial way to enhance community wellness while maintaining full compliance with environmental safeguards. This proposal transforms an otherwise dormant winter property into a safe, community-oriented recreational asset without compromising environmental protections. The town of Tamworth fully supports this application and respectfully requests favorable consideration from the department. I can let you read that too.
I make a motion we approve the letter as written.
Second.
How about?
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes?
Schaefer, yes?
Price, yes.
Roberts, yes.
If you wanna just put that, I can put in the signature file and get it back to you tomorrow?
Yep.
So quick, Rich.
Efficient.
Otherwise, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, good job.
Great work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
I know, kind of in the same vein of the rec fields, so we got a new transfer station, backhoe, the old, what is it, a backhoe tractor, piece of equipment. I think Rick would like to have down at the rec field for some use of that space, so.
So what I wanted to ask of you, and I know we touched on it briefly, Richard, is now that we have the replacements up at the transfer station, that we, maintenance could take over that, the older loader backhoe, and kind of let it retire down at the fields where Jeremy and I have a few projects, and as he grows, I think it'd be sufficient to move it down there, rather than let it, monetary value on it, I mean, you've seen it, it's really not there.
Pretty minimal.
But that's just a suggestion, but maintenance would take over the maintenance for the equipment, you know, and we just move it down there.
Seems like a good
Yeah, why
idea.
not?
Plenty of work for it to do down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of dirt to move
Yeah. Dig
down
some
there right
holes.
now. Yeah, dig some holes, take some hills out.
I would say that if there's any, in the future, any catastrophic,
Correct.
breakdowns, that it may not be worth,
Yeah.
at that point, probably readdressing and maybe getting rid of, but if
So
we
keep
can-
up on the maintenance, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like I say,
Yeah.
it's just
yeah,
anything, you know, if something has a serious issue, I mean, a hydraulic line, fine.
oh, yeah, but.
You know, I know what you're saying, though.
Pumps or motors or transmission or something like
Yeah.
that may not be worth fixing at that point, but
Yeah.
tell them we might as well get a little use out of it if we can, so.
I thought we had ordered new front tires for that, but they were looking
Yeah, and
bald
there
ones just up
there
there.
was, we were in the middle of a round of repairs for that, just so
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. So we should have the new
Front
tires.
And a radiator as well,
Yeah.
which I believe Bob already has.
Traction is nice to have. Yeah. Good.
Cool.
So that's what I was here to ask.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
You got it.
Yeah, it works for us. Sweet.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to old business. And we'll hear from Ellen Farnham on Independent Redistricting Commission.
Thanks. I'm here with Gabrielle, and we put in a warrant, a petition warrant article, and we would just love to answer questions and tell you about it. And we really appreciate this opportunity to speak to it. If it's okay with you, I'll read a short statement about it, and then Gabrielle has some other points that she might want to chime in with, if that's all right?
Okay.
Do you want me to stand or?
Whatever you're comfortable.
Okay. The petition you have before you was signed by 75 Tamworth voters. It proposes the creation of an independent redistricting committee and represents a chance to think outside the box about a new way to make our voting districts fair for all people. Every 10 years, the New Hampshire House and Senate have the responsibility of drawing up new voting districts based on the most recent census data. A special committee is appointed that reflects the percentage of legislators that each party elected. The process is supposed to be fair, nonpartisan, and transparent to the public. Unfortunately, this is not always the case, and politicians from both sides of the aisle manipulate or gerrymander the district boundaries to gain political advantage. If the Democrats are in power, districts are drawn that give them more seats in government. If the Republicans hold the majority, they create maps that favor them. By contrast, an independent redistricting commission would be composed of an equal number of Republicans, Democrats, and undeclared voters, and would remove the map drawing power from the politicians. This commission would seek to keep communities intact, meaning communities together that have links like shared school districts, physical borders, service agreements, and the like, and apply clear and consistent standards. This will strengthen public trust in elections and ensure election outcomes reflect the will of the voters rather than partisan political interest. There would be opportunities for strong public input and clear criteria to limit political gerrymandering. A similar warrant article is being presented in our neighboring towns. Moultonborough, Madison, and Sandwich all have the same kind of article on independent redistricting, as do 20 other communities in the state, reflecting strong citizen support for this proposal. If the warrant is approved, the only ask of the Select Board would be to have them transmit a written notice reflecting the vote of the Tamworth Legislative Body to the Governor and all members of the General Court representing Tamworth within 30 days. And we're happy to answer questions. But did you want to jump in additionally and pass this to Emily?
Yeah, I guess, and maybe also have a question about process at this point, because we understand that at the budget committee hearing, there was a select board took a vote for to 0 against the warrant article, and so we don't know if it's possible to change that at this point or not. But the idea of citizen petitioned warrant articles is like, this is the fundamental town meeting style democracy that we have in New Hampshire. It is really the baseline democratic process that citizens have for bringing forward their interests, and the fact that, without a lot of effort, we had 75 people sign this warrant petition means that there's interest amongst the members of the public for consideration of this at town meeting, where the deliberative body, the legislative body of the town, will make a decision about whether they support it or not. And, like it or not, the process that we have where the select board makes a judgment before the citizens do about whether the select board approves of something or not, it sends a message to voters about whether something's good or not, or it plants seeds of doubt about the merits of a proposal. And so it's distressing to us to have this warrant article, which is nonpartisan, coming in with an air of disapproval on the part of the select board. So We'd rather it be something that people came to town meeting with an open mind to consider, and listen to arguments on both sides as they might exist. So I guess the question that I would have is it possible to reconsider the vote at this point? And if it isn't, would members of the select board be willing to say that, the only chances that we had were yes or no, we didn't have, due to our errors, the opportunity to present what the warrant article was about, so you made a vote without really having much more than just this very simple language on the warrant article.
I don't think you can change it now because it's printed in the warrant. I personally, not speaking for the board, am comfortable stating my opinion at town meeting, which is that I would be in favor of this. But we had 0 to go on. Like, we were literally Googling what this was at the budget hearing.
100% my
So
fault.
it was, yeah, and it's not, I'm not saying it's a fault at all, but, I think that what our conversation was at the budget hearing, check me if I'm wrong, but it was along the lines of like, it's hard to support this if we don't really know what it is or what the intention was, even if we think we know what it is. So it just was a hard position. I don't think we can change it now because it's the warrants at
But
the
I think
printer.
it can be explained at town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that. The only other thing I jump in and say is under this, well, I'm not even bother saying it because it can come up at the town,
Yeah.
unless you have questions.
And, the way that we handle town meeting, since I've been on the board, is that the warrant articles read, including the select board vote, and at that time, when there have been votes that have been split or opposed to something, one of us has spoken to what the vote is and explained why. And if it's been a split vote, people from either side of the split have spoken. If it's been kind of unanimous against, one of us has been kind of charged with explaining, speaking for the board.
Actually, typically, if in the past, if we've voted to not support something, you usually have to explain it more so than if you've
Right.
voted to support it. Usually if you're in
favor,
I think
we
we'll
don't
have
say, yeah.
have an opportunity to just explain that we didn't really
We
understand
really appreciate
what we
it.
were.
And if you have any questions that come up before then, one of us are happy to answer.
Is it appropriate now? Is there anybody who's against it? And the only reason I'm asking, we're on the spot taking these votes at the budget hearing. If there is somebody against it, we should figure out who's gonna speak in favor or against, if there is somebody against, so that we're prepared. So Emily, when she's setting up our cheat sheets for town meeting, is aware.
Is this something that's happening across the country, in different parts of the country that has been supported or not supported for any specific reason?
That's a great question.
There are a number of states that have had independent redistricting commission, and there's been a movement towards that because so many states have been gerrymandered, and sort of on a bipartisan basis, people have realized that over time that's not good for every vote having the same ability to elect, every voter being able to elect the same chance of electing somebody who represents them. And so large states and small have them. I don't have the count of how many, but the case of California is sort of topical because it's been in the news. They had one until the recent sort of arms race of gerrymandering happened, and then they suspended their independent commission in order for them to be able to gerrymander because Texas had gerrymandered. And so that's exactly what we don't want to have happening, is an arms race of gerrymandering. It's not how our democracy is meant to work.
All right, well, thank you for the presentation.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
we really appreciate it.
Yeah. So,
Do we take a
I don't know if we have to
a
take
straw poll?
I don't know if we even have to do that. If you want to.
Not really sure where I'm at on it.
Yeah, I have more research to do myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
I kind of do
Let's
something.
wait on it.
So-
We can decide.
We just have to let Emily know ahead of time so that she can prepare the cheat sheets so we know who's gonna speak for what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or otherwise, Carl can speak for all
Speak
of
up.
us.
Or we can wing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winging it works.
Winging it works. Okay.
Thanks for the explanation.
Thank you.
Under new business, certificate regulatory compliance overview. Emily.
Okay, I'm just sharing my screen here. Hopefully people on Zoom can also
Mark,
see
did you
it.
get your absentee ballot?
Excuse
Did you get your absentee ballot?
Did I get it? Yeah.
Just reminding you.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. This week.
So, in hindsight, I wish I had this ready at the public hearing for the planning board, because they have a lot more turnout than we do tonight. But we haven't really met as the select board hasn't really met since the public hearing. So this was kind of our opportunity to present the ordinance to you folks and really understand if it is adopted at town meeting, what that means as far as enforcement goes. And then, the bigger questions that I saw kind of asked at the public hearing was how this was going to impact taxes, which is kind of my aisle. The planning board is really, if you have an issue with, the regulations and the ordinances that the planning board has already put forth and have been adopted by the town, that's not really what we're discussing tonight. What we're discussing tonight is how adopting this ordinance impacts taxes and enforcement.
And I just want to say, Elsa and Larry are here representing the planning board in case there are questions from the select board.
And if you find this little slideshow helpful tonight, I'm happy to put it on the website and keep it posted, up until election day. Hopefully people can find it and ask questions. So I feel like the first important point to really drill home is that this ordinance is about land use regulation. It's about upholding the ordinances and regulations that the town has already adopted for generations. I mean, starting in 1969 when our subdivision regulations was adopted by the town. In addition to town adopted regulations, there's state regulations that we have no control over, but we're responsible for. So examples of that are like current use criteria, excavation criteria, and DES water and septic. So those are things that the state sets that we're just responsible for kind of overseeing. The second important note in this ordinance, which is what we're really going to speak to tonight, is where it says, inasmuch as Tamworth does not have comprehensive zoning ordinances and has not adopted local enforcement of state building codes, which, making that clear, doesn't touch zoning or building codes. Some development has evaded review or notice of the town and has also escaped taxation, resulting in residents bearing a share of the tax burden that should rightfully be borne by others. So the important things to establish is that number one, it's the responsibility of the select board and the duty to assess the town fairly. We are on a 5-year assessing cycle, so our assessor goes out and looks at 20% of the town every year. And then every 5 years, everybody gets brought up to market value at the same time, which is when we have a reval. And currently, there is no required notification process. So in 99% of the other towns that are in New Hampshire where they have adopted building codes and people have to apply for building permits, basically where you're asking permission from your town to build something, what this ordinance does is it just requires notification, meaning so you just need to tell us when you're building something. So what does that mean when we're requiring someone to tell us that they're building something? What that does is it helps us, the select board, uphold the existing regulations that we've already adopted. It also allows us to produce a small revenue stream to offset the cost of enforcement for existing regulations. And it also helps us ensure fair and equal taxation among property owners. So upholding current regulations, we're already tasked with that responsibility. The board already has the authority to hire someone to go out and enforce these things, with or without adoption of this ordinance. We've budgeted for that the last 3 years. We've had a code compliance officer that we've budgeted $14,000 for. It's been a really difficult position to fill because without a required notification process, it's really hard to streamline enforcement. Often we're doing work retroactively, which generates more hours. When you're only notified that something's happening because a neighbor complains, that owner isn't normally pretty happy to get a knock on the door from a code enforcement officer. So by requiring notification, we're enabled to charge a small fee to the individual building, which then offsets the cost of the enforcement officer. We heard a lot at the planning board hearing that $5,000 material requirement is too low. It's too low of a threshold. I remember hearing a couple residents say, replacing my carpet, it could be $5,000. I shouldn't have to tell you that. But I'm going to remind you that this is about upholding land use regulations. So here's a few examples of how even less than $5,000 would still trigger some code compliance follow-up. So somebody, and these are real life examples that we've got in our office in the last few months. So $5,000 in materials to build a privy on a parcel that's in a floodplain zone. Well, that would trigger the compliance officer to follow up regarding their permit to build within a floodplain. $5,000 to build some yurts for short-term rental. Well, that would trigger the compliance officer to say, hey, if you're going to be renting or leasing these out, it needs to go through planning board subdivision regulations. So let's talk about your driveway permit, your setbacks, your septic approvals. Or $5,000 to build a fence on land that's in current use. So that wouldn't require a code compliance officer to follow up because that doesn't break any of our land use regulations, but it would be a good trigger for the form to go to our assessing department to say, hey, they're building on land in current use, that land needs to come out of current use and trigger a land use change tax. Fence current use.
Yeah, you can put up fences on current use.
You can build fence, or a barn.
Okay.
Okay.
But still,
No.
fence on current use is
Fences you
for
can-
livestock. and-
Livestock fences.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'm just
Not to-
using this as an example.
fair enough.
So by requiring notification, we can charge a small fee for any building that requires follow-up from our code compliance officer. So that revenue would then offset the cost of the officer, resulting in a reduced amount to be raised in taxes for the operating budget. So I just use these numbers as pure examples, but 100 forms times $100 is $10,000 worth of revenue. If the code compliance officer is $14,000 in our budget, that makes the amount raised in taxes only $4,000. So pretty simple. But the biggest thing is to ensure fair and equal taxation. So our town valuation minus our appropriation, what we're raising in taxes to spend in our budget, equals the tax rate. So the first thing to kind of, I think, accept is that we need to treat all residents equally. So if I'm telling you you don't have to notify us that we're building a shed, that means I also have to say that your neighbor doesn't have to notify us when they're building a guest house. And the opposite is true too. If I'm telling your neighbor that they have to notify us when they're building a guest house, I have to tell you, you need to notify us when you're building a shed. It's one and the same. We can't, pick and choose who we want to assess. The higher the valuation, the lower the tax rate. So approximately $10 million in valuation equals 0.6 cents of our tax rate.
Not 0.6 cents, but 6 cents.
I'm sorry,
6
6 cents. And assessing isn't, I really don't want people to get tripped up on this $5,000 materials number because assessing is different than appraisals. There are some home projects like painting or replacing carpet or windows or doors that don't change your assessment. And then oftentimes remodeling a bathroom or a kitchen, you might spend $50,000 on a kitchen remodel. That doesn't mean your assessment's going to go up $50,000. Assessments really look at quality, condition, and square footage. So I just don't want residents to get tripped up thinking like, oh, I'm doing a $30,000 project, that means my property assessment's going to go up $30,000. That's not necessarily true. But likewise, converting space, if you're remodeling a space into an extra bathroom, or if you're changing your attic or your basement into living space, that does change your assessment, and we should know about that. So it's just, it's not like a one-size-fits-all thing. And that $5,000 materials list is low, but I don't think that should really factor into whether you're gonna vote yes or no on this ordinance. And this is just an overview. I looked at all the building notification forms that were filed over the last 3 years and did some math. And this is just thinking, these are just people who, assumed the building notification form was required, called our office, came in and filled one out. And this is the value of the improvements. So in 2023, we saw 6 million, 2025, we saw 13 million. And this is the math that shows you kind of on the low end what $10 million does, as I explained before, is a difference of 6 cents. So what $30 million would do is change it 18 cents. And just to put that in real numbers for us all, so for an 18-cent difference on the tax rate for a $400,000 home is $72. So it does, it does make a difference. I'd be okay with my taxes going down $72. If the town doesn't adopt this, the select board still has the authority to do the PA 28 form, which is not ideal, but the only other town that I know of that does the PA 28 is Chatham. They also don't have building codes or zoning, but they only have 300 parcels. So it's easy to send this form out to every single resident. It has a deadline attached to it. It says you need to file this on or before April 15th. Every year it's required of every single property owner. And it's an inventory form, and I have copies of it up here if you need to look at it. But you're basically signing under penalty and perjury that you're listing all the improvements you've made to your property for the year. That huge stack of forms would come to our office, and then we can go through it and look at land use regulations and assessments. I mean, that's one way to accomplish this goal, but I think, in my personal opinion, by voting yes on this ordinance, what you're doing is you're telling only the people who are building, hey, you gotta notify the town. Because this way, you're telling everybody, whether you built or not, you need to notify the town. And that's gonna make a lot more work in our assessing office, and we'll still have a lot of work for the code compliance officer. But that's one way to kind of follow this. And lastly, I'll just say that in 2004 and 2007, the building notification form as we've known it the last 20 years was voted in favor by the town. So just because we didn't do it the right way, and now we're trying to do it the right way, I'm just putting that out there. So you can see that at the past town meetings, the town was in favor of this before, and I hope that they're in favor of it now, because I think it's the best way to accomplish our goals. But that's all I have to say on that.
It's powerful.
Thank you. Any
Well, wow.
questions?
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
All right.
So you had a public hearing, you had a good turnout?
We did, yeah.
Most of the comments are about, hey, this is gonna increase my taxes.
Yeah, or are you gonna tell me what I can and can't build?
This is the beginning
And are
of
people going
zoning
to come
in
on?
the town.
That's what people, yeah, mostly related to
That's what people
zoning and.
say, yeah.
So the planning board did create an FAQ and then revised it after that public hearing to clarify some points that seemed like they weren't clear in the initial, and that mailing went out to everybody in Tamworth.
I've been hearing that people have been receiving it.
So,
Yeah.
I got it. It was done well.
Yeah,
thank
very
you.
detailed.
Yeah.
So the contact info's on that if people have questions going forward.
For planning board.
Yeah.
So Emily, will this be up on the town site?
If the board would like me to do that.
I just sent you a tweak that you have to shift. The earth excavation regulation is an adopted town regulation, not a state.
Earth excavation?
Yeah, it's one of our regulations.
Oh, okay, I just know that it's.
Yeah, I'm just saying make sure it's, because it's one of our regulations that we have to
Oh,
enforce.
sure, yeah, I can include it. And I'll fix that about a fence, I think you're right, building a fence on current use land.
Yeah.
Why would building a barn on current use land?
Because you can't build
You can't build
a barn
It's a
on
structure.
It's a
Structure.
structure.
Fence isn't a
So
structure.
fencing is like
Fencing
for
is a
what?
structure?
Well,
It's contained.
I'm pretty sure you could build fence on current use land, because you can fence in current use land for livestock.
ChatGPT this.
Very good question.
Yeah.
I've done it, I hope I haven't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, it's hard to know.
Yeah, if we
I
start
think
going
it's
retroactive
structures and fences
250 years.
I know.
I'll find out. I'll find out before I post it.
No, it's good, it's very clear, very simple.
Oh, really nice. Okay, good. That would have been helpful. Well, you know, oh well.
Great job.
Okay, well, we'll see what
Yeah, I mean, the
happens.
two biggest takeaways were, I shouldn't have to tell anybody what I'm doing with my land, because why would I want you to tax me more?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is because it's fair, and because people lose their houses because they can't afford their taxes, and so if everybody kicks in what is due, that's fair. And then the other thing was, as you said, I don't want you coming on my land telling me what to build, how to build it, and we're just being, like, there's no building
I
code.
mean, yeah, it was a lot of confusion and misunderstanding, I think. Primarily people thinking that we were talking about different types of building and structures and how they can. And although we talked a lot about, building permits and stuff that wasn't really related at all. But I think that it felt, I don't know, I think questions were answered. And probably 30, 40 people came.
Since this is gonna be on the ballot.
So this will be on the ballot,
Right, is there gonna
yeah.
be any kind of education or, I guess, a person at the polls that can?
I wonder, yeah, so the big piece of education was the mailing that went out. I don't know.
Will this
But
be
often there's
going?
like flyers and stuff at the polls when there's questions on the ballot, is that?
Is that right?
What's the electioneering regulate? I think you
Yeah.
gotta be like X
Outside.
outside
Probably
the
outside
polling
the building.
place.
Yeah,
Should
right.
check into that.
Yeah, we didn't talk about doing, the planning board did not talk about doing that. We talked about sending this out in enough time
Yeah.
that hopefully people would read it.
I'm just recalling like FAQs for ballot questions that you could pick up maybe on an off basis, but I could have sworn in the past when there's been
I feel like
ballot
at town
questions.
meeting we can, but at the polls, I don't know.
If this does pass, will the town be going retroactive to
No.
projects that have been completed?
No, we can't. I mean, there's really no way to do that.
And we actually have to talk to, like, I don't know if we can really have this conversation effectively until we talk to legal, because that's a question we've already got into him about, like,
When would
if
it be
somebody's
effective?
calling and saying, like, filing a complaint about
Yeah.
their neighbor, like, if you did something 3 years ago, but the 3 doors down, the guy did the exact same thing 35 years ago, like, where does it end? So we don't know,
That's my concern, I think
Yeah.
we're doing
Yeah.
it ourselves into.
yeah.
I don't see how it can.
I think that
It's gotta be a
this ordinance would
day
be,
when it becomes,
Yeah.
So once it's voted on, I would think, unless it has an action date written in it, like the groundwater protection, shot forward almost a year.
And what about building that's in process?
That's in the past. Better start tomorrow. and-
Enough to go put a couple
I mean,
excavators
so-
around all around.
so, so
No,
here,
I mean,
but I mean,
kind
I
of
think
a-
that the thing is, the way that the planning board's looking at things right now, like subdivision, right? If somebody's put in a subdivision that violates the subdivision regulation, you're still responsible for that. This doesn't change it. What would change is that you don't have to go through the process of
Fill out
getting the
that
CNC or whatever, the CRC. You'd still have to be held to the subdivision regulation.
If you,
Those are two different
not that
things.
devil's advocate, but if you did something that would need to go in front of the planning board for subdivision rules and regs, even though it was going to, it was all, like, you're not actually breaking a land, like, not gonna use specific,
Yeah,
but if it's been done correctly, even though they didn't go in front of the planning board for that approval,
well, I think you still have to go through the process.
You just don't have to fill out the new form.
And everything goes yes, 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 and you're fine.
yeah, and if you,
so,
because I think that was some
It's-
people's concern at the
yeah,
planning board.
it's two separate questions, I think, and this is what we're still waiting for the legal answer on. our understanding from legal ahead of this process is that if there's an ordinance or a regulation of any kind, the select board is responsible for enforcement. And so the trick in Tamworth is, how does that come to us when there's no enforcement tool? It comes from somebody seeing something and calling us up and making a complaint. Yeah. I mean, we saw it with the junkyard stuff, so if somebody comes, we're bound to investigate it. And so what ends up happening is, and this part the attorney has told us is, so let's stick with the subdivision example. If you put in 10 cabins that you're short-term renting, and like, let's say you got your DES septic, you got everything, but you didn't go through the subdivision process, and you've built everything beautifully, right? You still have to go through the subdivision process, because we have a regulation in town that says that kind of construction that kind of development needs to go through that process, so you would have to come back through it. And voting yes or no on this doesn't change that. The difference is that, let's say you're halfway through building 10 cabins right now, and this doesn't pass, you still have to go through, you should still stop and go through subdivision, because if you go through it retroactively, it costs you more.
If it's completed, I guess I'm just a little, if it's completed.
If you built it after 1969, you need to go to the planning board.
Yeah, it's when exactly, it's when the subdivision regulation passed. So if it's before that, that's your grandfather date.
Okay.
I'm not gonna follow you to work tomorrow.
No, I'm just, yeah.
Does that make sense though? It's the regulation enforcement date.
This is just a form you fill out to let us know you've done something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that including that assessment form as the backup assessment form as part of this is really smart.
Yeah,
The second option.
yeah, and I mean, that's up to the select board if they, opt to go that route. It's an annual form. I'd rather not.
Yeah. No,
I'd rather the burden just be put on the people who are building, which, let's be honest, you should be doing anyway, because as we went over, as our town valuation goes up, the tax rate goes down. I feel like it's the duty of the select board to look at that appropriations, and that's our job is to keep the budget trimmed, and the duty of the residents is to be forthcoming with what they're building and the regulations that we've adopted. This is as live free or die as you can get for Tamworth within reason. And I'll say, I've worked in this office for the last 3 years, and the phone calls have not slowed down from people coming out of state saying, my realtor said I can build anything I want. I don't believe them. Is that true? I can build 3 tiny cabins, and it's like, well, no. And it's just but from there it's just a verbal conversation, because I can't point to a thing that says, no, you're required to fill out this form and tell us what you're building, and go from there. A lot of times we hang up, and I'm thinking, all right, I need to make a mental note to keep my eye on that parcel and see if somebody's building.
We heard that 3 or 4 times at that meeting.
If you have a public hearing like this, everyone shows up who's building something they didn't tell you about. You should see where they all live.
Well, there was an example, the hearing it wasn't a hearing, the conversation that happened right after the hearing, which was public. It was a person who had gotten a letter from the select board about a potential subdivision violation, and he came to us to see what he has to do about it. And when the planning board told him what he has to do, he said, well, gosh, I wish you'd voted on this ordinance last year, because then I wouldn't be
So much
doing
more
this now.
straightforward.
Yeah, it's just clearer.
I think everybody's reaction that night was, like all of us, you look at anything new through the me lens, and then you have to step back and look at it through the we lens. Just what's the best thing for all of us?
We have a question from Becky, is the assessor still doing 20% of the town every year, and this not a random pickup, but all properties in the 20%? So, yes, the assessor looks at 20% of the town every year, and in addition to that, there's what's called pickups. So, whether a pickup was triggered by someone filling out a building notification form saying, I'm building, a new house, or whether that's by, him just finding out that, by looking, observing that someone built something new. Those pickups get put in real time. So if you built a house, you're going to get taxed on it that year. So long as it was there before April 15th, right? But yes, and then, if you didn't build anything new and your house, your assessment in theory stays the same for 5 years, and then everything gets brought up to market value at the 5-year mark at the same time.
I think the point to make too is that this ordinance is not adding any power to the select board. It's not adding any enforcement power that we don't already have. We can already make fees, we can already make fines, we can already drive all around town and take pictures of property from public right of way. Like we can do all of that, whatever we have to do to enforce the regulation. We can pay somebody to drive around town and look at properties, which I think is way creepier than having people come forward themselves and say that they're doing, they're doing whatever they're doing.
Is the fee for the form, is it a flat fee or is it based on cost?
We haven't created it yet, and we'll do that in a meeting, but it would be my recommendation based on the other forms I've looked at for some different towns, is that that it's based on kind of like the amount of time it's going to take the person to do the job. So if you fill out the form and you check off $15,000 shed, you don't have to pay a fee for that because I'm the enforcement. I'm just going to pass it to Rod's mailbox. There's none of my time there. If it's the groundwater protection, you're putting in a new business over the aquifer or whatever, and the site has to come because you're looking for a waiver, well, that's going to take whatever time, so maybe that's a $75 fee. Before, the building notification was like a straight $100 fee, and I don't see that we can justify, that's not reasonable.
I mean, we're not going to do something like Wolfboro where it's like 1 or 2% of the entire
No.
cost of the project.
No. Is that what they do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
wow.
building,
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's because they're doing building inspection and they're looking at every.
it's
Whatever.
just clarifying, because
Yeah.
that's an honest question.
Yeah, no. I think if you look at Sandwich, that's when people have asked this question, because this is a real question that you bring up.
Yep.
Sandwich, if you look at theirs, you can see kind of the breakdown, and then it's like
And that's up to
$15, $25, $50.
Is that up to the select board
Yeah.
to decide and change throughout time?
Mhm.
That's a scary thought,
Well,
honestly.
that's also though, have to have a public hearing when you change fees,
Yep.
and it has to be,
It's
you
like
know,
Yeah, but there's no town vote involved with it. Like, we
For the
could,
fees.
like, if there's a new board in 10 years,
Yeah.
they could change it to be 1% of.
I guess so.
Wouldn't be in office long.
Yeah, but you could really screw some stuff up in the meantime.
Yeah.
right, but as Leanne already said, that you guys already have that authority to, it just takes a lot longer to sign letters. It actually costs a lot more than a fee when you have, like, look what we're doing now with sending out violation notices and have to have the attorney look at it, and then, get people to come after the fact and do things retroactively.
No, I know, I'm not disagreeing with the ordinance as much as like our power to like
Yeah.
So you
create a
think-
fee.
You guys
You think
have-
a flat
Like
fee's
if
better?
I'm voting, well, yeah, I do. I don't know. I think it depends on what the flat fee
Yeah.
is. I mean, if you say $10,000 flat fee, then no, I don't.
Yeah.
But if you say like $100 or $75 or
Yeah.
$200,
But you could use that same logic with our transfer station fees. I mean, at any point, you guys can decide to start.
Yeah.
And the law does say, too, it has
Yeah.
to be reasonable. The fee, there's an
Yeah.
RSA that governs how you guys can issue fees and fines, and it has to be reasonable, so.
And that's
I just think it's like, I mean, I'm just nitpicking.
Yeah.
But if I were going to vote on this and I didn't know Like it's just an unknown.
Yeah.
If I was going to voting on March.
Could you send the
10th.
RSA around that speaks to the fees?
Sure.
Because we should all read
It's
that.
it's embedded in the ordinance
If I were trying to make a
Yep.
decision on, you know,
and the FAQ,
Mhm.
both.
not a permit, but
Yeah. Let me think this through.
not that it really matters. Just a thought.
Mhm. I have something for the planning board since two of you are here. Lakes Region Planning Commission. Every municipality in the district has 2 representatives. Right now it's Leanne and myself. My term is up. If anybody from the planning board, anybody you know would like to be that rep, I'd be happy to give up my seat. It doesn't have to be a member of the select board. You go to 6 or 8 or 9 meetings per year.
6 meetings, yeah.
Is there an alternate as well?
Well, they're supposed to be, we haven't had
We
one in a
haven't
couple
had it.
years.
So it'd be good to at least have an alternate.
Yeah, the other person whose term is up is John Gotchen on the traffic committee for LRPC. And I spoke with him today, and he's searching for someone to take his place, but at the same time, he mentioned that it would be good to have an alternate. I mean, he'd stay in the position if there was an alternate.
Oh.
So, but
So if you
anyway.
folks who chat, and just let me know. And if nobody's interested, then I'll just re-up. But I'd be happy to give up all the power that comes with it.
And the pay.
Well, thank you.
And all the salary as well.
You get snacks at the meeting.
Yes,
That's
you
what
do
you
get
get. You get snacks.
And it's in Meredith.
The
No.
meetings move around.
They move around.
Sometimes they're in Tamworth. Sometimes they're in Laconia.
Guilford, Wolfboro. Towns host.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, so I'll put that on the website and get you guys the RSA.
Good,
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah.
thank you. Now, we're ready for the administrator's report.
Oh, the account balance is $4,884,424. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
See
See you
you,
later.
see you tomorrow.
I was gonna talk about warrant article number 4, but I don't think I'm going to tonight. It's just, it's, the DRA didn't like the way I worded the expendable trust fund for the energy improvements. It's okay, it's just that the DRA was basically like, your select board already has the authority to accept gift monies, you wouldn't need to establish a fund for that, so. But our attorney has different thoughts. It's so often in this job I'm pinged between the attorney, the DRA, and the auditors, so. Anyway, it's nothing, it's much ado about nothing, but we're still able to achieve what we want to achieve. It's just kind of the way to do it. And then lastly, town reports are going to be available next Monday, so that'll be good. The school report came out today. I think, so there's some in the lobby if anybody wants to look at it. The most helpful page, I think, is to look at is page 36. I really like what they do, this chart with their proposed changes. So this might be something that we want to do in the future, but it basically says, the proposed change of the budget, how it affects your taxes if you have a $100,000 house, a $500,000 house. And right now what it looks like is if you own a $500,000 home, in Tamworth, if the school board adopts this budget, it's a $975 increase in your taxes. So,
Wow.
get out there and vote. So our report is coming out, and then I need you guys to just decide on election day shifts. Richard is lucky, he's up for election, so he can't man the polls, but I think in the past you guys have done a few hour shifts and spaced it out, so I don't know what your availability is
I
like.
could bring my coffee or whatever if you like.
I'll do 8 to 3,
What day is it?
Tuesday
Tuesday the 10th, March 10th.
I got town meeting on my birthday. Sweet.
That's your birthday?
Your birthday
March
party,
11th.
is it?
Oh, man.
That's
Oh, we'll all
Happy
sing
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay, you know what, we'll make it quick, Emery.
Maybe we'll have a cake.
Emily, can I interrupt you for a quick minute?
Sure.
When is the last day that people can get the absentee ballots for the town meeting and the school meeting? Do you know the
Ooh,
date?
that's a good question. That's a Kim question, but I think she has the sample ballots. We have them up on our website. I'll see if it says right on there.
It
'Cause it's
usually
not just for
says-
me, but anybody else that's
Yeah.
not
See
gonna
if
be
it
able
says it
to
right on there.
participate that day. The school meeting is
preference on
before I leave,
I-
so.
Prefer morning?
Oh, we were betting you are.
Oh, if you guys would prefer morning, I'd rather, sorry to interrupt you, Mark, but I would rather
Yeah.
do the end of the day, like afternoon, evening, that way I can work a little bit in the morning. But
Yeah, I definitely am better in the morning.
I can do the afternoon, if you
I'm
guys.
flexible, that doesn't really matter this
Do the
time.
morning?
Yeah, I'm happy to do the morning.
Okay. Mark, Friday before is the last day for your absentee ballot.
Thank you.
Oh, it says absentee ballots accepted in hand at the town clerk's office on Monday, March 9th from 3 to 5 p.m. Yeah, that's what it says right on her
Oh.
post.
What are you looking at?
Oh, really? I'm looking at a text from Hillary,
Oh,
but she says it can be dropped off at election by someone.
oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, I'll bring it.
Well, yeah.
Talk to the town clerk.
Kim's public notice.
I'd say if there were more people even, on the Zoom meeting, that everybody on there is already there.
Yeah. So, okay, I mean, you guys don't need to decide right now. You can email me, but I just wanted to get you.
We just did.
We just
decide.
did.
Oh, you did? Oh, what'd you decide? Sorry.
You're doing all of it.
I'll do
God.
8 to 3.
8 to 3? Okay.
Same.
Yeah, it's Leanne and Steve.
And then you guys do 3 to 7?
Sure.
You get dinner.
Cool.
Yeah.
The only thing is I probably have to help count, but that's okay.
I know, then someone's gotta stay and sign the stupid tape. Can we, to tape the box?
Oh, yeah. That's fine.
Hillary also thinks that the town office is open the Monday before for a couple hours
I think
to
that's-
accept those.
Yeah, that's
Let's do
about
that.
3 to
Thank you.
5.
Good to know.
All right, that's all I got for my report.
Okay,
The RSA, Richard, is 41.9A. And it says, fees or charges shall not exceed, in the case of licenses or permits, an amount reasonably calculated to cover the town's regulatory, administrative, and enforcement costs.
Geez, I wonder how Wolfboro figures that out.
Well, I thought that their person got fired, so I don't know
This was,
who they're
I
charging
don't know
the
if I
fee
worked
for.
on it last year, but.
But,
Thank you.
Set your costs.
Yeah.
You can do whatever, I guess.
yeah.
okay. Select board update.
I've been in conversation with Cobalt Construction, who will be building the recycling building. They're estimating a start date, maybe last week of March, first week of April, depending on
Great.
frozen ground conditions. If we get an early spring, then they would start earlier. Cobalt has made the upgrades to the heat and the hot water system in the bathroom. That was done last week. And I met with BJ, our new supervisor of the transfer station here, to get her up to speed on the transfer station improvements. So she's up to speed on that. We've had a number of pieces of equipment have been delivered to the transfer station, new backhoe, new mini loader. And as items are delivered, then Emily can seek reimbursement from the USDA. So all the equipment's being paid for by the federal government. And we've been reimbursed for the backhoe and the compactor that we installed months ago. I don't know about the mini loader yet. But then, again, as things are delivered, like the balers won't happen to the buildings there, so that wouldn't happen till next summer. But that process seems to be going smoothly. So that's all I got.
Good. Good news. I don't have anything to report.
There goes my buffer time. So more on the transfer station. BJ's doing a great job, I think. She's been putting a lot of effort into cleaning everything up. There's There's fresh paint in the office. I brought my daughter in there and didn't have to worry about anything. It was great. It's looking awesome as she's discovering things. She's finding out the proper way to deal with them as the snow recedes and interesting things are uncovered here and there. Yeah, a lot of excitement about the new equipment. It's great to see it up there. Cameras are going to be going in soon. I guess, Emily, we're still pending the deposit on the cameras. I'm not sure any follow-up with.
We just got that today, so
Oh,
it's in
okay.
your, it's in AP for you guys to sign off on today.
Perfect. So as soon as that's taken care of, the cameras are going to get scheduled and put in. And so one of the things that the select board put in place several years ago was a policy of dump stickers being actually affixed to your windshield. Now, hasn't necessarily been enforced, I guess, consistently. It's something that we're actively keeping an eye on. I have personally been there to witness vehicles without a dump sticker, without New Hampshire plates, dumping large black contractor bags full of what was clearly heavy stuff. And there's a lot of flack being given to our staff about doing that. There's signage up there. Maybe we need more signage, not sure. But that is something that we're going to be enforcing consistently moving forward. I think it makes a lot of sense that the sticker has to be affixed to the glass. You could easily be passing them around. It's something that's pretty standard across a lot of these permitting requirements.
No sticker, no dump.
No, exactly. And
I thought it was a small problem, but it has turned out to be a big one.
the more that it gets brought up, it turns out to be a big one. We have a couple new per diems up there who are happy and hopping all over the place, and one of the things that they're hopping all over, and I've heard them personally, they didn't know I was there, from around the corner, very kindly reminding people that, need to have a dump sticker to be able to dump. I'm happy to see that they're doing it, and all that directly affects the money that we have to spend to get rid of that waste. If people are just dumping it for free, that's all on the rest of us to cover. So that's something that we're keeping a bigger eye on. And with the cameras going in, it's going to make that even easier. I don't want people having to be worried about getting swung at for enforcing the rules that we put in place. The camera's there, we can take care of it.
And BJ's taken a fair amount of heat from some residents.
She has.
The town clerk's office has taken some heat from angry residents who don't want a dump sticker.
Mhm.
I guess they don't realize the first couple are free. And if you need a new one, it's $20, and that's the way it goes.
Mhm.
But it's
And that's where
surprising
it's
to me.
gone forever.
Right.
So,
It's
like,
surprising to me how much resistance there has been. They've sold 10 new dump stickers in February.
Really?
Is it a dump sticker per person or per parcel that you pay on? I think it's per parcel.
I believe
Per
it's
parcel, you
two
get
per
two.
parcel.
2 per parcel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get all of them and sit out front and sell dump stickers.
See?
$10 a piece. Here you go.
Well, that's
Sell
a
them for
question that's been
13.
raised is,
Yeah.
can we sell dump stickers at the dump? How can we make that an easier process so when someone shows up, it's not, sorry, it's Saturday and the office is closed, so hold
Yeah.
on to your refuse.
You just
until
have to be able to
Wednesday.
tap into,
Yeah. I've spoken to the town clerk about it and BJ,
Yeah.
and they need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And once we have a credit card machine, it gets easier.
Yeah.
And that's,
Sure.
at some point, we'll get that as well. And I think we have the staff now that could pull it off,
Mm.
that have the computer skills, which is not, it's not that hard. So I think it can be done.
Right.
So there'll be no excuses. Oh, I forgot to do it when I registered my, $60,000 car
Yep.
to get my free dump sticker.
and you don't forget, because Kim and Hillary remind you.
They're great about
You
that.
know?
They've actually never invited me to get a dump sticker, but I never get one.
But-
So
Yeah. I'm
just saying.
Yeah.
I'm actually disappointed in people at how mean they get with Kim and Hillary and the folks at the transfer station. Every
been
week I
surprised.
hear stories about people screaming at them, people swearing at them, people threatening them. It's like, really? Get a grip, people.
And some of the accounts that I've heard about, when I follow up on them, there's multiple people there that have attested. There was no
Provoking.
belligerent attitudes or anything being thrown away. So, I just want to make sure that we're supporting that effort. One of the things also I want to report off the dump stick, unless you want to keep going on the dump stickers.
No, the last thing I want to say about that is, other than each one of us volunteering some time to meet cars as they come into the transfer station, I don't know how to convey to the public that it's not the staff making stuff up. We told them.
Yeah.
Because it's the rule. I mean, is that something we want to do? Are people willing to do that? I'll do it if other people will, but I don't want to be the only guy hassling people in their cars coming into the transfer station. I'll do it if you all will. What can we do to convey it other than just have BJ have to keep doing what she's doing?
Yeah. And the reason that it's a rule is because it costs the town money to dispose of waste. And that amount has gone up exponentially just in the short time I've been on the board. And so you can't have it both ways. You can't have no rules and low taxes. So, it just doesn't work. And the fact that people want to complain about one and then argue about the other doesn't make sense.
It's very inconsistent.
Yeah.
So I'll say one more thing. I had two more things. Mark, you have something?
Yeah, real quick. In my past life, where I managed a large property where there were stickers required, and we got the same kind of feedback, and we had a gate, the whole thing. You could have a sign at the base of the road, or as you start to make the corner up, saying, this is the color of sticker that is required for this amount of time, whether it's the year, or 6 months, or whatever, and say, without this sticker affixed, you cannot get rid of your trash, per the select board. And then also, a way to convey to everybody is, it's not the town that's paying to get rid of the trash, it's the taxpayer
Right.
Absolutely.
paying to get rid of the trash. So if you don't mind people from other towns coming in and getting rid of the trash on your dime, then let's have a vote. And you know how that's gonna go,
Yeah.
all right? But a sign, maybe.
Yeah, and we have some signage. I think more would be helpful.
I'd have a gate and somebody checking, like at a military base, where's your ID? It says you're from Tamworth.
Right.
You know, because
I think particularly
get
once we
aggravated.
can sell them on site, I think that will be the last sort of method is somebody with a big stop sign down by the gate. If they're coming through without it, we'll sell you one for $20.
Right
That's the
now.
only way you're getting past this.
Gotta see your driver's license and see a credit
That
card
won't even tell
and
you.
be done. And by the way, I met BJ and some other girl, young woman, that working, they're both great.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
very nice, personable. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. We're going camping together pretty soon. Me and BJ.
All right.
So it's rounding it up. One of the things that's come up, we've talked about this before, but the continued amount of recyclables that people can clearly hear being tossed into the MSW, something that I think we need to get ahead of education-wise with the recycling building coming. It's a continued frustration I've heard about from the transfer station employees. Is
Yeah, some people just don't want to take the glass or the aluminum and put it somewhere else.
right.
Like, just get it out of your trash bag.
And I know some towns that give you the recycling containers. Maybe that's a bit too parental, not sure, but
Some towns give you clear garbage bags.
Do we have to ask? Do we have to take them out? Like if I go to the dump, do I have to take them out of my regular trash? We don't have mandatory recycling.
No,
we do not
don't
have
have
recycling.
I was just a question. I wasn't sure. I don't.
we don't.
We don't,
Yeah, we had to pay per throw.
which is an option. Yeah.
That really increases people's recycling rate.
Yeah.
Clearly, there'll be an educational effort before the new building is in place, and I'm hoping that'll motivate more people to just separate their stuff and put the glass over there.
And I think that has to include like the economics of it
Yeah,
too.
oh, definitely.
And BJ's had some good ideas about putting the price of the
Yeah.
commodities and what we've saved and everything out there, like we talked about
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost $200,000 a year to haul the trash away.
Yeah,
And if you can get the heavy stuff like glass out of there and put it over here, everybody pays less.
right.
Yeah. I just want to, Becky, we talked about this at a couple meetings ago. The USDA was 100% reimbursement, which is why we bought a bunch more equipment with it.
Yeah, it was a 35% match on the grant on the project as a whole, which ended up being almost $500,000. So we were able to use all that money to go against the equipment, which was really good news that we got back in November, December.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a real pleasant surprise that somebody wanted to give you more money than you thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
And my last thing to end on a positive note is with all this new equipment, we have 4 billion Zerk fittings to hit grease with. And BJ's gone out and bought an electric grease gun, so there's 0 problems. Those things will be greased up.
What type did she get?
A Milwaukee.
Must be nice having money.
We got grant money.
I read the wall, so.
That's it for me.
Yeah. I was worked on the planning board mailing, and also just quick check-in. Katie Bilodeau again at the police station is, meeting lots of people in town, directing them to services, and she's hit the ground running. Some of you might have seen it, that we got the sad news that Linda is retiring. It's great news for her. She's got exciting family news coming, but it's going to be definitely a loss for the police department. She's been amazing over the years, so that position is posted. And I know that the chief's got a bunch of candidates that he's looking through right now. And so Linda will be with us until the spring. That's it for me.
Nothing for me.
Okay. Is there any public input before we go to the signature file?
This is Maureen Diamond, if I may make a few comments.
Sure.
First, there was so much white space on tonight's agenda, I thought it was going to be a very easy meeting. It's been pretty heavy, and I really appreciate the discussions. I definitely appreciate Jeremy's presentation. I think he's a great asset. I love his social media posts about what the kids are doing. I really feel that it reflects very well on the town. And I definitely want to thank you, Emily, for your presentation tonight, and just for all the behind-the-scenes work that you're doing, because I think things are, in terms of preparation for the meeting and understanding of the budget and stuff like that, I really think it's been a good year from my perspective. The last thing I'll say is when the Tamworth Recycling Project first started, I think in 2018, they did some cute little, very, clearly homemade posters around town about the economic impact of, recycling glass and stuff like that. I thought that was effective at the time. Obviously, the information hasn't stayed with people, but something really low-key like that, I think would be very effective. I also think Mark's idea of a poster at the beginning of the entrance to the transfer station showing what the current sticker looks like is a very good one. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Maureen.
Thank you.
Any other public input? Okay. Are we not gonna approve the minutes from February 10th? That was the hearing.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't give you guys enough time, so,
So we'll skip that one until next week.
yeah.
Next meeting. I make a motion to approve an intent to cut from map 414 lot 3 access road Durrell Road.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You said yes?
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
It's our order back, all
That's
of
right.
us, for the first time in so long.
I make a motion to approve accounts payable in the amount of $609,445.81.
Second.
$250 for a school payment, $58,759.03 for the library payment, and then to be reimbursed by USDA for the backhoe, $159,900, and recycling mechanicals of New England for the compactor containers, $43,860. Roll call vote.
You said yes?
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to adjourn. at 6:22.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having us. I missed last week. I think it was Becky asked me if I had been to I missed
The hearing.
was it the last hearing, yeah, from the departments? Yeah.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Good night, Bruno.
Good night, Bruno.
You could always watch it. David, you could always watch it.
Oh,
I what?
You can go back and watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Emma,
you.
you did it right, but he set the lines up wrong.
What?
Was I supposed to go below?
No, well, because of the way he set it up, you actually did it right, because it's usually this way. You remembered the right way, but he set you up for failure because he set it up wrong. I'm gonna go above too, Carl can be in a blank spot.
Well, sorry.
No, it wasn't you, it wasn't you.
So our next meeting's at.
Close.
You did the right thing,
Next
but
meeting.
Jeremy didn't
Next
format the
meeting's
letter
town
right.
meeting.
And then.
Wait, next meeting?
Oh, you still up?
Wow.
Just hold on.
Yeah, March starts
24th?
Saturday.
So don't forget our election
Lively
day,
yourself.
polls,
Yeah.
schedule.
David does that a lot.
That's it.